Hi, this is Pearl and welcome to my channel. Today I have my 2020 Project Life album week 32 and I am using the Studio Calico Documenter kit for the month of August. So I always print out my pictures and put the dates on the back of the photos, and then I like to put them in semi-chronological order. You'll see I have two 12 by 12 white cardstock that I just used a ruler to outline what the design A page protector looks like, so I don't have to go in and out of the page protectors while I am working on this spread. So I'm going through the Studio Calico journaling cards and trying to decide which ones are going to be journaling cards and which ones I'm going to actually journal on, and which are going to be filler cards, excuse me. And I fill in all those areas, and the very left 3x4 card is always my title card, and that's where I write what week number it is. So after I do that, I am going to work on the left-hand side of the layout. Now the first photo I have there on the top left is of the gas price. It's crazy. It was only $2.95, and here in San Diego, $2.95 is unheard of because it had been over $4 before COVID happened. So I'm using my 6-inch tonic guillotine to trim the edges of my 3x4 photos because they didn't end up really 3x4 photos. They were not even, and I'm still trying to figure that out. And plus, I'm putting these on a 4x6 card, so I do like to have all sides showing part of the 4x6 card. Now I'm using the numbers that came with the kit, and I'm putting 32 down. I couldn't decide to use the pink or the greens, and I really didn't want to use the greens because it seemed too Christmassy, but the pink didn't work for me either, so I just went ahead and used the green 32. Now I'm going to adhere this photo down of the picture of the gas prices using my Kokio roller adhesive. This is my favorite roller adhesive, and it's made in Japan, and I do order them from Amazon, and I'll have everything linked down below. Now I'm using a Zebra Sarasa dark gray vintage pen, and I love writing with dark gray instead of black because it's not as dark, yet it's still easily read. I'm using a One Canoe 2 roller date stamp, and I'm using the Stays On ink. And I do need to re-ink that pad because you can see there that it's uneven. I'm looking at the stamp set that came with this Documenter kit, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to stamp anything on this, and there's a stamp that says photographic evidence, so I'm going to put that on the acrylic block that I have there, and I'm using a white eraser to get all the debris off. Now this is the best way to get debris off, but if you don't have a white eraser, then just rub that against your hand and it'll get the debris off to get a much cleaner stamp. Now you'll see here that Stays On is great for stamping on photos because it dries quickly. And I'm using a stamp chamois to clean my stamps. Now the stamp chamois is not really to clean off Stays On ink, but I go ahead and use it all the time. And it works great, and you're saving on throwing away wipes. I'm using a wood veneer that says August Stories. This came from the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit that I used last week, that I have some leftovers, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. Now this photo is of my son. He's on the wood floor just reading, and I'm using some of the labels that I had cut from the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit that I had fussy cut, and I'm just going to put that label down on the bottom left-hand portion of that photo. I'm date stamping that, and I just wrote 20 minutes a day because my kids are required to read 20 minutes a day outside of school, but it's summer break right now. I'm looking at the chipboards to see if there's any chipboards I want to use, and then there's a triangle that says this story, and I just thought that was just so perfect for this photo. So I have the triangle focusing towards his head. Now on this pink journaling card that looks like a library card, I almost started writing, and then I used the chipboard that says Love August, and I'm putting that on the top of that journaling card because I do want to use up the embellishments. I have a tendency not to use the embellishments because I'm so focused on the words and the photos that I sometimes forget to use embellishments. But I do like to limit myself to using only the things that came in the kit so that I am forced to make less decisions, if you know what I mean, and that helps me get my spreads done quickly. So I date stamped that, and I wrote, Kai is always asking to spend time together. Most of the time she wants to stamp, craft, or scrapbook together. I love that she enjoys the same crafts as me. It's our quality time together. I apologize if you can hear my kids in the background. I keep asking them to be quiet, but you know, I have 4 kids at home and we're forced to stay at home, so my apologies. Now on this next journaling card, it's about my son, and I do put another triangle chipboard on there as well. And I aim it from the right to the left so it points at his picture, and I wrote, Christian had a wellness appointment so that he could get his immunizations to start middle school. We also spoke to the pediatrician about some issues and what steps to take next. So I do that. I date stamp that as well, and then I date stamp his photo as well. And I'm going to put a wood veneer that says just relax from the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit, and I'm going to use my Kokio roller adhesive just to adhere that down to the left hand side of that photo. Now moving on, there's this photo of my computer screen, and I had made a project of going through all the gaps in my kids. They each have their own sets of photo albums. Well, it's not theirs, they're actually mine. I told them they have to pry them out of my cold dead hands before they can take them from me. Anyway, each kid has their own sets of scrapbooks, and I did go through them because I don't scrap chronologically. I went through and noted where I had gaps in their albums, and I wrote the dates down, and then I started going through their photos and printing out some photos so I could make some 12 by 12 layouts to put into their albums. So that's what I was doing on this day. And on the journaling card I wrote, working on printing photos for the gaps in the kids' scrapbooks. Love going down memory lane. Now I'm going through the sticker sheet that came with this kit, and I'm just putting them, I put a love this on the photo of my son reading, and I'm going to put a hello on top of the photo of me, or not me, of the computer, and then another one that says good times on the photo of my daughter and me in my craft room. And please excuse the mess. I'm sure everyone has this messy space, and mine is always, it's a working craft room, so it's always a mess. As soon as I clean it, it's a mess again. Okay, so this next picture is of the kids at the beach with some family friends, and I wrote, we spend so much time with the Tams and Gordons. The kids get along so well. It's just a great match. On this day, they all met at the beach so the boys could boogie board together. I wrote that and date stamped that. After I date that, I'm going to move on to the next portion of my layout, and that is to date stamp this photo of the kids at the beach. I do use a chipboard that says joy and relaxation, and I cut off the top of that chipboard because I like it interacting with the edge of my photo. And for that, I'm using the Tim Holtz scissors. They're the 7-inch scissors. Oh, you can't see them in this layout. I mean, in this frame. I apologize about that. But I will have that link down below. It's the best scissors ever. So I'm trying to decide which labels I want to adhere to this, and then there's a little portion that I had fussy cut from the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit that says love this, so I'm going to adhere that to the top right of that photo, and I will end up doing some stamping. But looking on the bottom left-hand photo, it's a picture of my kids, and all 4 of them are on their electronics, but they're playing a game together, so that makes me happy. So I just wrote electronics on the details, and then I'm date stamping that as well. That's also a label I fussy cut from the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit. Now this next journaling card I wrote, making the kids unload the cart wall at Walmart, and I date stamped that. And on the photo of that, I use a label, and I wrote child labor. Because I am Korean, and I just thought that was funny. You know, sweatshots, all that good stuff. Just kidding. Not really. Sorry, not sorry. So I do cut a portion of that label out because I want it interacting with the bottom of that photo as well. Now I'm gonna put both sides of the layout out, and I'm going to want to do some stamping and also look at the rest of the embellishments to see if there's anything else I want to embellish. And so what I end up doing is I want to do some stamping. So I try to decide which stamps I want to use in which spot. And so one of the stamps that came with the kit, it says my favorite, and then you have to check off what is favorite about it. So I'm going to use the black StazOn ink and stamp that onto the picture of the kids at the beach. And I do use the white eraser to get all the debris off. And the StazOn ink is perfect for stamping on photos, and it actually came out really good. Although the right hand side of that needs to be re-inked. But then I'm going to use Nuvo drops, and they didn't show up as well as I hoped they would. I thought they would be a brighter yellow, but it's not. And I do check off by putting dots on place, people, and thing to do on that. And I have to let that dry before I put it into the sheet protector. But of course I wasn't patient enough and it did get squished. I decided to do one more stamp, and I'm going to use the stamp from the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit, and it has a stamp that says August Memories. I'm going to take the debris off the stamp by using the white eraser again, and I'm going to use the StazOn ink and stamp August Memories to the bottom of the photo of my kids on their electronics. After I clean that off, I'm done. That was my week 32. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this type of video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload a new video, and I'll see you next time.